What's up? Thursday, Hot Ice Thursday, August 3rd, post deadline. We touched on winners and losers on Pick Central. Got a couple different things. I wanted to attack this. This is usually one of my favorite things. I'll be honest, I stole this from Stanford Steve. He asked the question usually around March Madness, how many teams can win the World Series? So in terms, instead of headlines and tackling the winners and losers, Smitty, obviously everybody except the A's can probably win a World Series, and the Mets can win a World Series mathematically. But in terms of like true, actuality, I'm interested to see like where you would go of how many teams you think can win it.
Okay, I mean, let's go down the sketch. Let's go down the playoff contenders right now.
Right, because I don't think this is an exercise we've done, and I always think it's a good gauge of where you draw the line for sleepers. So let's start in the American League. Baltimore Orioles, I would imagine you say yes.
No, I don't think
really.
They can win it. I think they can get there. The only way I see them winning is if Flaherty becomes what he was like 3 or 4 years ago, like a surefire ace, or if the lineup just completely goes banana land and becomes the greatest playoff lineup in history, which I guess they could, but I think they're just too young and their starting pitching isn't good enough for a 7-game series. That's it. I think they can get to the World Series, but win it.
Okay. No. I might touch on this on Pick Central. That's an interesting debate. Texas Rangers.
Yes.
Okay.
Hard yes.
Minnesota. I would say, well, I'll give you this. I say the Orioles can, and you say no. Rangers, yes. I'll say yes as well. I think they've been consistent without the DeGrom. They've been pretty lights out. I would say yes for the Rangers. Twins.
No.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
No success. Don't have it. Middle of the Central.
Their World Series is every week when Chris Clemmer takes Bailey over innings pitched. That's their World Series.
And even the teams who've been around 500, like the Braves and these guys who've excelled, you just don't see that makeup, right?
No. I don't see them putting it together consistently enough to make the World Series, let alone win it. To make the ALCS even.
Rays.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Houston Astros.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably the favorite right now.
It seems like the question mark for the Astros has now been set up. You know what I mean? They went and got their guy. Like I said, 2 games back of or a game back of the half a game back of the division. Like they'll be right there. Don't be surprised if they're in home field in the playoffs. They'll take care of it.
Clemmer on Pick Central had a very, very good future yesterday. Astros over 91.5 wins. They basically have to play a little over 500 ball to get that. Alvarez is back. Altuve's back. They got Verlander. Like I think their preseason over under was like 95, right. But I think they get 91.5 for sure.
Blue Jays.
Yes, but they're gonna have a lot of things having to go their way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's my sleeper. I kind of like the Blue Jays if that lineup can really put it together.
It's the Blue Jays. It's the Blue Jays every year. Can they put it together? Once you get hot.
Same with the Padres. Paper Tigers. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Reds need to sign Dallas Keuchel. 6 starts in Double-A with a 1.66 ERA. Past 2 games have been dumpster fires. I don't hate that for a playoff run of thinking outside the box. If he's going to cost you nothing, that's not a bad idea. I didn't know he was still like pitching really well.
I didn't know he was still pitching.
There you go. I should have cut that sentence off. Boston Red Sox.
No,
I thought that'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer, but I don't know. I still have that Boston magic thinking in me. That's the only reason.
Yankees.
You grow up in Barstool through the 2000s like that. That's all you think about is they just go on runs. Yankees, no.
I agree. Seattle Mariners.
It's so tough because they have the talent to do so, especially pitching. But they just haven't proven it. So I'm going to say no.
I agree. And then we'll cut the line here. I'll give you 2 more. Angels and Guardians.
No for the Angels, but I would love it if they actually did win it. Like that would just be a complete fuck you to everyone. And Guardians, they just don't have enough. They don't have enough.
They do have Francona, but I'm going to say no on both of those. Yeah. So I'm at 5. You're at 4 in the American League. To the National League, I think this one's pretty easy. Braves, yes. Dodgers, yes.
Yes.
Reds.
I think they're in the same boat as the Orioles. Not enough proven starting pitching, even though I like their starting pitching when they're healthy. Let me say I like them in 2 years when they're healthy. I just don't think they have enough to get over the top, especially when they play like an Astros.
All the guys, listen, I'm not disrespecting the Brewers. We're going American League and now we're going National League. Take it easy. Take it easy, Donnie. Take it easy. So the Reds, you're saying no or yes?
I'm saying no. I'm saying they could probably get the same as the Orioles. They could probably get there, but 7 games.
I think they gotta tighten up the pitching, but maybe they get somebody post deadline like the sign. I don't know what Keuchel, who knows, but that hitting they can hit. So I'll always put them in there, and they're my team. Giants.
No.
Okay.
No, and
yeah, it's hard for me to see a team with J.D. Davis, Wilmer Flores, and I love Conforto, all good players who we exiled, but I don't know. 11 games.
They're winning. They're overachieving again, like they did 2 years ago. It's just like 2 years ago when they get to the playoffs. You need your top guys to max out, and their top guys aren't going to be maxing out like the Braves or the Dodgers' top guys. They just aren't. They're just going to be overpowered.
Philly.
Yes.
I agree. I think so. Yeah. I think they got through there last year. They're right there. And gave the Astros everything they can handle.
Yeah, and with Lorenzen and the way they've been pitching from top to bottom, with the exception of some Nola starts, they're getting Alvarado back. Dominguez is going to be settling in. They arguably might have the best pitching staff in the league, and pitching wins in the playoffs. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see, especially if they maybe go to a 6-man rotation. Nothing's been announced, but give Wheeler and Nola some rest going into the playoffs. And if they can be dominant with Ranger Suarez and Taiwan Walker giving you innings, they're going to be a problem.
Miami.
No.
Yeah, I think it's sexy, but I'm going to say no as well. Milwaukee.
They just don't have the lineup, and Milwaukee doesn't have the lineup either. Right. They just don't. They cannot you cannot find a way to manufacture runs. And you look, the run differential of these teams, Cincinnati is a -17 run differential. We'll chalk that up to like the first half of the year when they were trash. Miami's got -24. Milwaukee's got -15. Philly has +11. San Fran has +26. And you get to the Dodgers and Braves. Dodgers have +101. Braves is +151. It's not even fair. It's not even fair. So you see the way. I mean, that's a great illustration of how teams win ball games and how teams lose. And if you're in a negative run differential at this point of the year, it's going to be tough to get into the playoffs and succeed.
Arizona.
No, and they're another one. They're slipping. They're 57 and 52 right now. They're -3 run differential. You know, even if they end up 500 or like 3 or 4 games under 500, which I think that they're kind of trending to right now, unfortunately, because I like their team. That's still a win for the year. They gave it a good shot, the old college try, and next year they're maybe add a piece or two and ramp up and be in contention for the West.
Yeah, I think I know it goes against your team, but I think from a fan standpoint, it's much better to have Arizona and Miami as wild cards instead of you guys.
Nobody cares about Miami unless it's 97 or 03 when they're loaded up. Who cares about Miami? Who cares about Tampa Bay other than the fact that they play pure baseball?
Just from they overachieved, like they're interesting.
Look, Jazz Chisholm was on the cover of MLB The Show this year. People already fucking forgot about him.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess ratings-wise, I get what you're saying, but Arizona I've been on for 2 years. Like I would like to see them get to the playoffs.
I like to see them too. I think that's a pure baseball take, which I don't hate.
Right. I'd like to see the Reds get to the playoffs. The NL is thin, by the way. Yeah. Cubs, 2 games over 500, 2.5 out of the wild card. Like you have to list them.
Yeah, I say no, obviously, but they're fighting. They're fighting a good fight for
they're making a run. Yeah. Padres
saving David Ross's job. Padres are back to one game under 500. Yes, they can win it with the talents, but I don't.
I just think after a while, you are what you are, and they're not a good baseball team. So no. And then it's the Mets, which is an obvious no. Like that's the list. So NL, you have 3, and I have 4.
What would you have done if you're heading into this year and you saw that the Royals are favored over a game versus the Mets?
I would never believe it. But how sharp was me that last night saying it's Senga heavy play. The Mets are the team we talk about after the deadline that goes, and I'm not going to do Frank. It's truthfully gambling. They go 4-20 or 4-17, and they just did it. They just lost the Royals. I think they lose again today.
It's not looking great. You got your guy Carrasco.
You're a dog. I wish they had a sign, but it's crazy. Like they're just a horrific team. So I didn't expect it, but if I can make money off of them, happiness hedge, I'll take it. Real quick, dog of the day. This one's probably stupid, and I'm probably putting my foot in my mouth. But the Cincinnati Reds cannot possibly play any worse against the Cubs, right? Give me the plus 135.
Yeah, Cubs is a dog. It's always a good play. It's always
I got the Reds as a
dog. Excuse me. Right, Reds is a plus. It's always a good play. But the Cubs are playing good. They are. They're giving it to them, and you see where pitching comes in a little bit.
What do you got, dog?
I don't know if you're going to be able to accept this because it's not a pure team, but I think Max Scherzer absolutely shoves today. First game in Texas, just comes out fucking firing. Over 8.5 strikeouts is plus 210. I think he gets 10.
Okay.
Is that acceptable? Is that acceptable for our dog?
Yeah, you can take that, Carl. Yeah, you can take that. It's a thin day. I'm gonna go best bet. I'll give you the Astros minus the 110. Fade the Yankees. Gives me a little bit of joy myself. I think the Astros, like I said, they're laying in the weeds. They haven't fully turned on the gas. They got a lot of run here towards the playoffs. Anytime they can drop their nuts on the Yankees in a regular season game, that doesn't mean anything, but it does all of a sudden then mean to the Astros to remind them who's the big boy on the block. I think they do it. Give me the Astros as my best bet.
Talking about a thin day. It's a thin life going so far. My play of the day, I hate that I absolutely love this play as much as I do because it is a parlay, but I got the Rangers and I got the Dodgers moneyline parlay minus 123. Rangers at home against the White Sox with Scherzer on the bump. I love it. I'm taking them minus 1.5 as well for minus 135. I think Scherzer just cooks them. And then you have the Dodgers late nights with your eyes on the mound against Sears, who stinks at home versus Oakland. Oakland could win, I guess. But I'm in love with this play.
It's a good spot. We are 2 for our last 2 in the hit parade. Kyle Tucker, Nico Horner, and Mookie Betts each to record a hit plus 160. All of a sudden you hit 2, they knock you down a little bit. But listen, Betts is always going to hurt you. He's minus 300 to get hits. You talked about LA being a favorite tonight. So that's the hit parade. Let's try to go 3 for 3. Thin. So to recap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 teams that can win it. And one of them is your hometown bias with Philly. Might be a little bit of a stretch. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9. Probably a little stretch with the Reds. Maybe a stretch with the Blue Jays. But, I don't know. For all the years of people coming out of the woodwork and surprising us, I do think it's a pretty chalky year.
Exactly. We said it on Pick Central.
We say it every year, though.
I don't know if we say it every year. This year feels like a Braves-Astros. It just does. I don't like it.
Give me 7 of that. Change it to 9. Give me 9 of that.
Yeah. Go back to 1916. Go back to a 9 or 11 game series. We'll talk about this with Clemmer, but did you see obviously the Mets losing on a balk the other night? Did you see Craig Kimbrell balk on purpose last night?
No, I didn't see that.
I've ever seen a player balk on purpose at any level at any time. So there's a runner on second base. He's at extra innings. And apparently, for whatever reason, teams are he's tipping his pitches to the runner on second, and he noticed it. So he balked on purpose to get him to third.
To get him out of the way?
Yeah. Which is ludicrous, in my opinion. Like, just fix your fucking tipping. Like, you're going to have to pitch with a runner on second, man. This is extra innings. Granted, they were up by 2. They lost anyway, but I've never seen a balk on purpose. He dropped the ball and then pointed at it and was just like, yeah, go to third.
I would have loved if he doubled down. How many outs were there?
There were nobody outs.
Oh, see, I would have loved even more if he went full psycho and walked the guy at first, try to get the double play, give up the run, be like, hey, well, I got 2 outs, 1 pitch. Like, I want to see him go completely psycho.
Kind of what ended up happening, and they lost anyway.
Yeah.
I've just never seen that before.
Yeah, I think that was a tough conversation in the clubhouse, I would imagine.
It's tough because Trey Turner, he's broken. Like, there's no other way to put it. And he's going to get all the heat and then some for last night's game because he made that routine error where they could have won it and they ended up losing. But they were up 5-0. Wasn't all just his fault. Just came down to it, which sucks. Right. They're going to have to. I mean, it's sick because I have so much faith because they are playing so inconsistent and so bad at times that I'm just like, well, if they put it together, they're fucking great. And they're 3-3 in their last 3, and they basically gave all 3 games away. Yeah.
So, that's the hit parade. Let's try to go 3 for 3. Hopefully nobody intentionally bulks tonight, which is crazy. Speaking of baseball, got some youngsters out there, Smitty, trying to get their ticket to Williamsport. You got the regionals out there. Let's watch the kids for the fun. Sometimes you can just watch baseball to enjoy it. So,
is it on the Barstool Sports book? That can't be legal.
No.
I bet it will be one day. Responsibly.
50 years, maybe. 50 years, I say. But yeah, that's that hit parade. That's Hot Ice. We'll check you out Tuesday.